In Somalia, there are about 60,000 displaced people as a result of the flood. You talk about South Sudan, people are migrating from the centers to DR Congo. DR Congo are moving people from their communities off to Uganda. And the Ugandan government is saying we cannot take any more displaced people in our country. We need to begin to think of evacuation center. And that's just one part of Africa. When you bring it down to Nigeria, this I call is a cry for survival. People who have been internally displaced as a result of insurgency and, of course, the floods have moved from communities or community centers from the grassroots to urban centers like this. Now, what this has done is that it has given them the exposure to live in places where they call luxury. For us, this is an uncompleted building without windows, without security, without any form of livelihood around except the cornfield we see across here. Now what we're going to try to do is take a walk and a tour into the life of these internally displaced people and get for ourselves a first-hand story of what it means to be without shelter. This is Sonny, the grandson of one of my victims. So we're going to take a journey into this place and let's see for ourselves how people have decided to find the knack for survival. This is a lost home or a no man's home where you find old debris. This is actually someone's beddings, and this is where they keep their clothes, this is where they call home, and this is where they sleep at night. Now if you look closely, you would also see, strands and heads of corns on the floor, which means that these people survive by subsistence farming from neighboring farmlands. Now when we walk through this door, what you see right ahead of you is a stretch of land, a mossy green fields. Now deep in that forest are other people who are also lost and displaced, finding refuge from what I call makeshift homes, where you find them living in plastic bags and making items and buildings from shattered timber woods from buildings like this. Now this is somebody's room. Now what you can see is that this place is up for construction. Now, these are the sources of livelihood. What happens here is that the people, if you look through that opening, you will see a stretch of cornfield. Now, that is where the corn comes from. Neighboring farmers come to these people and get help to actually get the corns of the cob. Now, what that means is that this, for them, is what they call livelihood. Now, I would want to introduce this to somebody, and that person is Sonny's father. Sonny's father. Mafia. So, Sonny, this is your son, your grandson. Now, tell us about this place. How has it been living here? How has it been coping under this condition?
It's also crisis.
Okay.
I'm carrying my children down here. It's not cool way to stop us here. It's not. And no way where I don't get anything where I would say I will go and rent house to carry my children, go for them, make I stay here to do my work.
So how do you cope? Because there really are no windows here. How do you cope at night, especially with someone this age? What are the health hazards? Because I can see he's not really as bright as he should.
The management, I just manage because always fever for my children. Always I go dross because of.
What do you do? Do you work security apart from the farming? Security. And how much do you earn?
12,000.
12,000.
Yes.
And you have how many children?
I get 8 children.
8 children.
Yes.
Now, when we look at the number and look at the sum, some would wonder how exactly is it going to make a survival from that. But let's take a look. Can we see where you sleep? Can we go there? All right. Okay. Okay, this way. Oh Lord. Now there really isn't any much light in here, so we're going to make the best of what we can in the shadows. Now if you look in here, what you find are bags of cement. Now, bags of cement are toxic on its own as an item, and imagine it in a room where people sleep and people live. This is the bed and the beddings. This is where they call the good night calls at night, and I'm sure this is where Sonny sleeps at night. Now, what you see are blocks, pieces of blocks put together, and paper bags. This is just a paper bag, right? And planks of wood, and then mats on this. So imagine when the rain falls, and you had to put this because of the rain, right? How do you cope with mosquitoes? Because then you know that these children are exposed to malaria. How do you cope with it?
No kind of sleeping mosquito. Just the management, the mosquito.
So what? None of your children, no school?
No school.
No food?
No school. Food, where then the food, tablets of fire, we carry them.
Mama, I now knew. What's in this? May. Wow, the Wonder Woman, that's what they call you. Tell us about yourself, Rosalyn. I've heard so much about you from, all of the people that I met today, and they say you're a delight in shining armor. Rosalyn.
Thank you, Adora. My name is Bolchit.
Okay.
Lakan. I just noticed people hanging out,
okay,
walking up and down, and I took a walk towards to the bush where I see them coming out from, and when I went there, oh my God, I was amazed. I saw a lot of people, and the environment is beyond imagination.
Nothing you can write home about.
Yeah, and my heart just
went out to them.
Yeah, and I was like, what is it? So I talked with a few of them, and I found out that they were displaced. Some of them came there because of the flood.
Okay.
Some came because their houses were demolished. So many reasons.
Right now, you reached out to Yellow Jerrycan Project. You reached out to us, and I'm wondering, at what point did it become an emergency for you to call the number on your screen? Because when you called us, you were frantic, you were panicking, and you said these people need help, they need shelter. What made you think it was time to act?
Well, I saw their condition like a time bomb, ready to be
explode.
And it was so urgent, and I'm concerned about girl child.
Okay.
Because I'm a lady, I'm a woman,
I can imagine.
I'm a mother, so you can imagine
what they are going through. Yeah,
what they are going through, and I thought in my mind that maybe I would have been the same. My condition would have been the same if not for grace of God. So I was touched, and I watched TV this fateful day, and I saw a program about Yellow Jerrycan.
Okay.
And
they called the number.
Got the number, their contact, and I called immediately.
Okay. It
was so urgent to me that when I called, I was like panicking. It came to my head. Yellow Jerrycan for now, I think it's the government I know.
For how long are we going to keep doing this. We need evacuation centers in Africa. In Nigeria, we do not even have one structure that protects citizens aside from secondary schools and makeshift primary schools. And now what that does, again, is take out the students, well, untimely from studying and put in people who need shelter. So one part of the country, the children are mentally displaced, while the other ones are displaced without shelter. We're going to take a break, and then we'll talk and take you through the fields, showing you the surroundings of this place, and then I'll take you to a place I call the middle of nowhere. You will find what you see is a creek that leads you, well, I call it the River Nile, to the other side, where you will see the other people who live in the forest and how they live. Let's take a walk. Creek. Like I told you earlier, I was going to take you to the middle of nowhere. Now across this, well, I call it river now, it's come down a notch. You know, the last time we were here, you couldn't even find your knees. So we're going to try and cross the creek to get to the other side where the other people stay, and you will find an amazing community of internally displaced people locked in one center, and that's what they call family. Wow. Now this reminds me of a heathen resort, but this is no resort. So what I'm going to try to do is please be careful. It's a bit slippery around here, and I'm talking to my cameraman in particular. You might want to tread carefully because this place is not meant for two. So I'm going to walk across, and then you can come behind me. So So, this is a source of water. They drink this water, they cook with this water, they do laundry in this water, and they bathe in this water. Amazing. Now, how can people not have illnesses like cholera and, of course, Ebola? Now, it's not really common in this part of Africa to have that sort of disease, but cholera definitely. And of course, you might find cases of guinea worm and snakes lurking in the bushes. Maybe not crocodile yet, but definitely this is a breeding ground for mosquitoes. So I am thinking, if you're thinking with me, that this would be a breeding ground for mosquitoes. Now, if you look across to the other side, I'm wondering where the water is coming from. I'm truly wondering where the water is coming from, and it looks like a magic wonder creek. I have never seen anything like it before. So let's do what we can do with this and then move across to the other side. Be careful, because what you're about to see will blow your mind. Oof. So what you see are plastic bags and old bags of cement making the walls of this home. And you're wondering, how can this withstand the rain and the storm? Incredible! So what we're seeing here is another family. This is where they also stay, and this is what I call traveling across borders, because you just passed the creek. This is also, again, a sign of subsistence farming, which is a con. And across here you can see farmland with cons in it, and then okra. Of course, that's also the makeshift, the trim there. This is home. This is where they call home. This is made of plastic. I call it Macintosh, and then a board. And so imagine when I take this away, all you see. Now, can you come over here? Now, what you see here mudslides, and then you can see ants everywhere. So you can imagine what happens at night when it's very dark. These all find their way creeping into. If you see, that's a hole there as well, and that's evidence that mosquitoes will definitely come. If you can see here, come over here, come over here. Now you can see that hole in the gash there. And of course, this is not much of a fence. So this is all plastic bag, and this is wood. Now, if you come round, what you see again is another side to the building. This is a different, well, I call them neighbors. And this is another person's home. Manage waiting government to do for now, because this need be house now. Mosquito they disturb, cool go deep. How na they manage?
I suppose that no get work. Also I no get work. See the market they are used, no market now. Even one couple, I no get that. I was this one I do small before the thing give up food and like.
Ask her, how is she coping? What can we do?
Okay, not about how you are. Okay, she said she has stopped delivery.
Okay, so she stopped having babies. So yeah, we get that.
So that they've lived to accept life.
Wow, they've lived to accept this as a way of life. Because why? They don't think help will come. So
kina nan kina zama ba za ki cewa wani mutum Allah ne yana kawo mutum wanda zai.
All right. You know what I think now, I'm sure a lot of people are watching this and wondering what's the benefit of this. When you look around, what we have seen so far are people living in makeshift bags. And what we're trying to say is we need structures in place, evacuation centers, relief homes, AIDS kiosks, a benefit system that will be beneficial for people like this. Well, this is where the journey begins, not where it ends. You've heard the story of the people, you've experienced their lives and where they live, their families. It's not just about the looking and the seeing. It's a clarion call. It's out to you, it's out to me, it's out to the rest of the world. Africa is in need of evacuation centers. In Nigeria, we have none. We have schools for makeshift refugee camps. That's got to stop.
Agenda.